Cool. Let me make sure. Hey, there it is. Hello, everybody. It is 5:30 on January 22nd, and this is the Charter Review Advisory Commission. May I have a roll call?
Fairweather. Yes. Fiskus.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Sayer.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Next on the agenda is the minutes from the 1/15/25 meeting. Did everyone receive them and have time to review them?
Yes.
Any questions? May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Fairweather.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Sayer.
Yes.
Perfect. We have no old business, so we're going to move right along to new business. The three different items on this part of the agenda: A, review of last week's amendments; B, follow-up from the Board of Elections; and C, a discussion on term limits. So Alan sent out several packets, the most recent of which I think was yesterday. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. We can go through this bit by bit. We can read out loud the proposed sections so that they are available for comments and for the record. How would you like us to proceed? Any preference?
I don't have a preference. What do you prefer to do?
So I was just going to say, I mean, in this one, I did change it from just like, red color to underlined and bold, so it's easier to see maybe for the people that actually want to look at it, what the language changes are, and then there is some strike-through language. So that's the main change that was made in the, in the first one on nominations and elections. It's just going to be used the forms prescribed by the Secretary of State. In Section 2 is the only change, instead of the MAMI forms. And then the primary election will be conducted by the election authorities on such dates prescribed by the laws of the state of Ohio, which shall apply to all primary elections. And then at the start of that paragraph, also, it was struck through, I took out the nonpartisan primary election, just said a primary election.
Yes, which was a result of our conversation last time discussing whether or not we should be moving forward with some nonpartisan ballots.
Right. And
Okay, so
you
that
still
keeps
can-
us
right, you can
in line with everything.
Right. And a person can still elect that there not be a party designation if they want, on their own. So that's still in there.
Okay.
So that was, I think, covers what we talked about last time.
Any questions from anyone up here?
Not as it relates to that.
Clear.
I think it's very clear, too. I think the language is as clear as it can get. Alan, do we need a motion to move forward with the language as you've proposed it, or do we wait until the end as like a whole packet and say,
Right.
this is what?
Right. I think once you reach the end of what you're going to present to council, you just do a final report.
The final
council,
report.
and
So we
just
can,
set forth, these are the changes we're proposing to make, and I can draft that too. And
yeah, so we can like TA this one, so to speak, for now, and then just keep on moving forward at Section 2 and Section 3.
then the next one would be the Article 8, the military service. I just put in the event the military or the service member will be absent for more than 90 days from their elected position. So I didn't know exactly what language you want to make it. So after they're absent for 90 days or that they will be absent. So that's one of the questions you'll have to answer to. When I looked at that, it wasn't really clear to you. Do you have to wait the full 90 days or do you take their word for it that they're going to be called out and may not be back for 90 days?
Could you have either or?
Right, you could select, I think would be best,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
I think it would be best.
That allows for better planning.
How did 90 days become the,
I think that's just
Gauge.
something we discussed, that that's
Okay.
kind of a time period that
okay.
they're going to be gone longer than that, but how do you actually word that? Do you replace them right away when they may not actually be gone that long?
Well,
Or do you wait?
yeah, but as a general rule, if somebody's being called for military, they've got their orders for a particular amount of time. I don't ever recall Chuck being called up and being released sooner.
So the way that the National Guard is working right now is in shorter segments, though. So it is possible. Obviously, no one, not to my knowledge, is currently in the National Guard on council, but
Right.
they are being called away for 30 to 90-day segments, and then like re-upped essentially in the moment. So I'm inclined to say the person has to be gone for 90 days before you can
Before,
appoint.
Yeah.
and then I also did make it so it says elected official versus council member or anything, because it could be the mayor too, could be in that position, so.
Just
So you wanna-
thinking this through. So they have to be gone for 90 days, and then it has to align with, at that point, we're talking about a difference of like 14 days tops for a council meeting. Do we know how, are there any examples from other places that have a similar provision?
Yeah, there's several actually. Toledo, it's treated as a temporary absence, must report back to work within 90 days of discharge to remain seniority and position. Sylvania, vacancy of full-time active duty exceeds 30 consecutive days. Employees entitled to military leave under ERISA, reemployment rights per ERISA and ORC.
Is this for elected officials or for employees?
Elected officials, I'm looking at elected officials. Rossford, it says vacancy of full-time active service exceeds 45 days.
So is 90 days too long?
Well, when you look at what the federal, I would have to look at what USERA says. Let's see here.
I think my issue while he's looking for that is that, so are we talking about, so I come to you and say I have to leave for 90 days. I'm on city council, right? Do you wait 90 days before, or you're looking at like immediately you would put someone into my position
That's what's,
because I know I'm going to be gone for 90 days?
that's sort of the question.
Okay,
The question
okay.
is what is the correct answer there? And I can, even as I'm thinking it through, my inclination is they have to be gone for 90 days.
Yeah.
Before we put somebody
Before we
into
would put
place?
someone in that position, but then if that person is deployed, for a year, and you know they're going to be deployed for a year, now you're just waiting 90 days for the sake of waiting 90 days. So then my next line of thought is,
Yeah.
is 90 days too long? Is the way to sort of to figure that out, to split the difference and say you can't appoint anyone until X number of days, but maybe it's not 90, maybe it's 45,
like
Yeah.
that said, yeah.
maybe it's 30.
That's why I was thinking,
Yeah.
30, and yeah, I know the Guard right now is doing that, but,
Well, and the Guard does it every summer, usually for a month anyway.
It depends on the,
6 weeks, but I mean,
yeah.
yeah, then that's, you're not trying to put someone into a position for a month,
Right.
but 45 days then, that might be 6 meetings.
Right. I like the idea of
Meetings.
either or, because if we know right away that somebody's going to be going to Afghanistan, they're going to be there for 9 months, for planning purposes, you'd want to get somebody appointed ahead of time instead of having to wait that 90 days, that 90-day provision, because that's 3 months of, something
Right.
that we already knew, so.
So you brought up I think you both brought up a really good point last time, which was the more complicated we make these, the less likely we are to get
Yeah.
buy-in from them. Is that making it too complicated? And that's a question, is not me leading the discussion, truly. Does that make it too complicated?
No,
By
I feel
doing
like it
either
does.
or?
Yeah. Could we accomplish what you're suggesting? Well,
I think the either or gives both sides, well, in my opinion, either or gives both sides, meaning city government, a continuous chance of running without any absence if we know that they're going to be gone for a long period of time. And the 90 days also gives them, if they're going to be gone for 45 days, they're going to get their job, back, and we're going to keep that position vacant because we know, right?
I mean, no matter what, they're entitled to get their job back,
Yeah.
no matter how long they're
Yeah.
gone, under federal law. So it's just a question of, right,
When do we appoint?
when do you appoint?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And so the language could be in the event the service member is absent for more than, and pick a number of days from their, and I did think about this too, just now, for more than whatever days from their elected position, we should add due to active service as described or something like that. So they're not just,
Yeah. Right,
I'm just,
yeah, not
here,
just
right.
absent. Yeah, I got you.
but then city council can appoint a temporary replacement.
I feel like it should not be an either or. I think we should have one set of rules for the simplicity of it. And maybe the answer is fine tuning the amount of days. Maybe it's 60. I mean, I'm thinking too, you don't want it to be, you don't want someone appointed to something that's going to be like,
15 days.
I'm trying to figure out how to make it so that it can't be used as a weapon, essentially. And you don't want someone thrown on council for 15 days because the person's going to be back in 60 days.
Right,
Because you can't even be caught up on what is happening or understand the rules in place in that case.
and that could be why many of them have 90-day and 60-day provisions, just so you're not doing what you were saying, Madam Chairman, about appointing somebody for 10 days and then they come back.
So, Alan, could you provide two options? One that just has can be appointed after X number of days, and then one that has two provisions like John suggested, and then we can read through it and see if it feels too complicated for the sake of voting.
Good idea.
And I think, I don't even know that we need to decide the number of days at this point,
So what's the biggest concern? That ties won't be broken when they're voting? Like, I guess,
My concern, and maybe this is just me being too cautious, is you have a contentious council and it's a one person split either direction. Someone goes, they want to get a bunch of things passed. Say that person's gone for 60 days and we have this 45-day provision. They appoint someone, do a bunch of stuff, and then that person comes back. That doesn't feel that doesn't feel right to me. Like it feels like there should be some sort of protection in place against some sort of nonsense like that. However, it could be any number of days. We could make it 90 days and they could be gone for 95 days and we could be at the same problem. So it might be me being overly cautious for something that frankly can't be fixed, and also overcorrecting because the likelihood of this really happening is pretty slim.
It is slim, and it's more important to protect the military person than it is to fill the position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
our charter reads now, it's not protecting,
Yeah.
which is going against federal.
So I agree with that. That,
I mean, does it need to be filled, or does it just need to state that their position will be left open?
when you
Right,
put it
that's
like.
the other alternative. You could leave it blank and not add that line at the end.
When you put it like that, too, it makes me feel more confident in the cannot appoint until X number of days has passed. Because even if we, like, if we decide not to appoint anyone, okay, but it gives me more confidence in the idea that we would not try to do an if this or this provision. We would just say, there's a grace period of however long, and it doesn't get appointed. And then we don't have an opportunity for whatever else. That protects the elected official and the servicemen in a cleaner way.
I mean, one of the thoughts in looking as an alternative, would it be that if the service member provides notice that they're going to be absent for more than 90 days, because I think most of them would, saying, hey, I'm getting called up and I'm going to be gone for 6 months.
Yeah.
Unless
just-
it's a last minute, they generally know.
So I guess we're back to, can we try out two different?
Right, I'll put a couple different
Yeah.
alternatives together to look at for that. And try not to make it overly complicated
Yeah.
to figure out, or for the voters to see what's going on.
Okay. Any questions before we move on to the next? All right. So that brings us, okay, so we're up to recall now. That is a big, long paragraph of underlined text, Alan. Should we read it out loud for the sake of the folks listening at home? I will volunteer as tribute if that is the case. Okay. Here we go. So it's section 3, removal of officer by recall election, petitions for removal of elected officer by electors. Any elected or appointed council member or mayor provided for in this charter may be removed or recalled from office by the electors by the following procedure. A petition for the removal or recall of an elected or appointed council member or mayor containing a statement in not more than 200 words of the grounds for the removal or recall may be circulated once in a calendar year within a circulation period not to exceed 90 days and may be filed with the clerk of council. Such petition, to be sufficient, shall be signed by at least that number of electors, which equals 25% of the electors voting at the last regular municipal election for that office. Within 10 days after the day on which such petition shall have been filed, the clerk shall forward the petition to the Board of Elections for the Board of Elections to determine whether the petition meets the signature requirements hereof. If the Board of Elections finds the petition insufficient, the clerk shall promptly certify the particulars in which the petition is defective, deliver a copy of the certificate to the person who filed the petition, and make a record of such delivery. Such person shall be allowed a period of 20 days after the day on which such delivery was made in which to make the petition sufficient to be resent to the Board of Elections for signature verification. If the Board of Elections finds the petition sufficient, the clerk shall promptly deliver a copy of such certificate to the council member or mayor whose removal is sought and shall make a record of such delivery. If such council member or mayor shall not resign within 5 days after the day on which such delivery shall have been made, the election authority shall thereupon fix a day for holding the recall election at the next general election, occurring more than 90 days after the expiration of the period of 5 days last mentioned. No petition to remove or recall an elected official shall be circulated or filed within 1 year after a council member or mayor takes office. No more than 3 petitions may be circulated and certified in which elected officials may be recalled or removed in a general election. If more than 3 petitions are circulated, the first 3 petitions filed and certified shall be presented to the electors at the next general election as defined by the Ohio Revised Code. The election authority shall publish notice and make all arrangements for holding the election, which shall be conducted at the result thereof returned and declared in all respects as are the results of regular municipal elections. Okay, so
You speak a different language, sir.
I was like losing my place.
I had to read it like 7 times.
So, I see all the things that we agreed upon, 25%, 90 days, the 1 year provision, no more than 3 petitions circulated. The one question I had was the 20 days after the date. Has that always been true?
Oh, to make corrections, you mean, or
Yes.
add signatures if they don't have enough?
Yes.
That's just an option, I think, that I saw in somebody, so
I
you
don't
don't
love it.
necessarily have to do that. If they
Do-
didn't come up with enough signatures, then they gotta start over, right?
Yeah, I don't love it. I feel like this is a process that requires a high level of attention and reasoning, and if you are frivolously filing with, I don't know, I would vote to strike that from this provision.
Okay.
How does everyone else feel?
I agree with that. I mean, what you said is 100% true. I know there were instances, in fact, one candidate was not allowed, they had the required signatures, but there was some problem with how the signatures were written. So they were not given the opportunity to redo them, and they were done.
I mean, I don't believe that elected officials filing their petitions are given this 20-day grace period.
Correct.
Yeah,
So it feels to me
yeah, I would strike it.
like
in my
it should be
opinion.
struck.
Yep, I agree.
So I'll just change that language if they find it insufficient. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that recall effort will be deemed to be
I think that simplifies
something,
this
right,
too.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got a question. Is there a way that, like, this can, like, be bullet pointed on the ballot?
Well, it's not gonna, this will not all be on the ballot. It'll just say, you know, for the recall provision, against the recall provision, pretty much to be adopted, and then it'll be up to the voters to
Okay.
look at a separate document. It'll be available at the Board of Elections. It'll be in the legal notices.
Do we provide that information to the Board of Elections on what the citizens see?
They suggest language generally as
Okay.
to what they're gonna do, and they generally do shorten it up, so
Okay,
significantly, you know, it'll be really,
all right.
I think that what you're speaking about, I mean, we've talked about this a number of times, and I don't know what the precedent is for this or who would do this work, but it feels like there needs to be a robust public information campaign to explain this. And I think that that is where your bulletin, because I had the same thought, like a bulleted list is going to help people understand this.
Absolutely.
The question is how to get that out there in an effective way, especially with the mirror not existing anymore. And that is, I suspect, work that at least, I don't know if it'll be us, I don't know if it'll be council, it will be Nancy.
Well, the cheapest way is to put together a bullet-pointed document and put it in with the water and sewer bills when that time comes. Plus, I know if asked, we will utilize that on the Meet Me and Ma Me podcast if you want us to,
I'm,
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be important for everybody to, to
Along with
make
it.
this, yeah.
I think
along with an explanation of why the changes are being made.
Right.
Or
Yep.
suggested or
Yes,
being proposed, so.
yep. There was a question I had. That wasn't it.
I have a question about 3 petitions. So does that mean 1 person?
No, so
3 people?
3 people total, mayor included,
Perfect.
are the only people who can be removed or recalled
And
at one
that's
time.
understood, because I don't speak this language. So the fact that it says only 3 petitions can be circulated, that means 3 people could be recalled,
Simultaneously.
not, I want, 3 petitions for you and 3, not like that. So you
Okay.
could circulate numerous petitions for 1 person.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
yes.
Yep.
And in fact, you could circulate petitions for everybody up here, but it's the first
First
3 that get to the Board of Elections and are certified that would eventually end up on the ballot, and anything after that would not be certified and would not move forward.
Okay.
Correct.
So when it says petitions, it really means like 3 specific people could be
Yes.
recalled.
I mean, I could change that too if you want, that no more than 3 elected officials could be removed in any one.
That would probably be easier.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other thoughts or comments on this first paragraph before we go on to nominations?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to read the next one. It's much shorter, I promise, for those following at home. B, nominations. The nomination of candidates to succeed each council member or mayor sought to be recalled or removed shall be made without the intervention of a primary election by filing with the election authorities at least 60 days before such special election. A petition proposing a person for each such office signed by electors equal in number to 10% of the total votes cast at the most recent regular municipal election for the head of the ticket. The 10%, is that how it's done in
I think that was out of the state code.
the state code?
It's
Okay.
10%. And I don't know if even 60 days is too short, because
Yeah.
of, you don't know who's really running until pretty close to the election, for campaign purposes or for the,
That feels,
the person being recalled to have a chance to,
yeah,
deal with their opposition, so to speak.
true.
So, I mean, that's again, and I don't know, that's one of the things I asked the Board of Elections about. I did not hear back from them, but, what time frame would work best for them, because obviously they have to put the ballots together and, get it out.
Right.
So we're
for-
still, so we should wait to hear back from them on that piece?
At least as to whether it has to be 60 days or 90 days before the election that they have to, somebody has to come forward to take that seat.
Well, because if it's not done in time, again, we're back to the military
Yep.
that are due their voting rights.
Just housekeeping question. Before the such special election, is special the right word in there?
Yeah, it'll be, we're not going to use special in ours.
Did we say general?
Should be general
Okay.
or regular election.
And then just another housekeeping note. I don't mean to call you out on camera. I think 10%, percent is 2 words.
No,
You want it
yeah.
1. I'm sorry, I'm a librarian. I don't mean to be
Spell
like
check
this.
didn't
It's in,
catch that,
I
no?
can't,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Or spell check, put it back that way, I don't know.
Yeah. To be fair, there's a lot of words on this page. I would have made way more errors, so.
And so for regular elections, then,
It would be, it could be either, it'll say general or regular election because,
I'm sorry, for nominations, because words aren't coming. 5% of of the electors and 15%.
What are you talking?
Well, I'm just trying to, the 10%, is that
Oh,
the
yeah.
same as a regular nomination?
No. So if you are running for office, there's a set, isn't there a set number? Or, okay, like a, oh, no, it's 10%, isn't it?
Well, it's,
It varies.
But no less
Signed
than
by-
5%,
there we go, yeah. So that's just what I was wondering, if that should be the
nor
same?
more than 15%.
I contend, and maybe I'm just being too much of a stickler on this, but I contend that there's a difference between a recall and running for office. There's a different level of, there's a different burden essentially on the two different parties.
Yeah.
And I think it should be a little harder.
Okay.
I agree.
No, I'm fine with that. I just wanted to know if that needs to match up or not, and,
Nope.
okay.
But good question.
Any other questions or comments on B nominations? Okay. C ballots. The ballots at such recall election shall conform to the following requirements. With respect to each elected official whose removal is sought, the question shall be submitted. Shall name of person be removed from the office of title of office by recall. Immediately following each such question, there shall be printed on the ballots the two propositions in the order herein set forth. For the recall of name of person, against the recall of name of person. Immediately to the left of the proposition shall be placed a square in which the electors may vote for either of the propositions. Under each of the questions shall be placed the names of the candidates to fill the vacancy. The name of the officer whose removal is sought shall not appear on the ballot as a candidate to succeed the officer's self. Did you get to copy and paste this, or did you have to actually write this?
That's copy and paste out of state code for that.
Good for you. No comment. I think it's fine. Is the next one also copy and paste, or did you write this one?
Most of it is, I think the last line about you can't, if you don't get recalled, that one's different than state law.
If any recall election, I'm sorry, we're moving on to D, filling of vacancies created by recall. If any recall election, if a majority of the votes cast on the question of removal are affirmative, the elected official whose removal is sought shall be removed from the office upon the announcement of the official canvass of that election, and the candidate receiving the plurality of the votes cast for candidates for that office shall be declared elected. The successor of any person so removed shall hold office during the unexpired term of the successor's predecessor. If the elected official is not recalled or removed from office by the voters, that elected official shall not be subject to a further recall or removal procedure by the voters during the term of office to which they were elected. So that last sentence is the one in question, and
Right, that's an addition from state code, so.
I like it. I have no comment.
I'm good with that.
Same.
I don't think you can keep going back at people.
Yeah, I agree.
Correct.
I mean, at that point, it's vendetta.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
I agree.
So
They get the next election in 2 years to boot them out then if they want.
exactly.
Yeah.
So one piece of this that was sort of in the mix this last year, and then also up on the list of things to consider, was the reimbursement for expenses should a recall fail to the elected official. Is that, who pays that? Does the city pay that?
We didn't put any provision in there yet for that.
Isn't
In the
that,
state code, it says up to 50% of the allowed expenses would be paid by the city. You can either have that provision in or you don't need to put it in. If you put it in, then you'd have to be very cautious about the wording because the way the state code reads, there is really no limit on what a candidate can spend to get elected. So our position would be that we would have had to reimburse if somebody wanted to put on $1 million campaign, that we may have had to reimburse the whole thing if they weren't recalled.
So do we put a up to?
Up to a certain amount of money or up
Yeah.
or
I haven't looked to see what other communities have done on that.
right.
But up to is a safe way to prevent the $1 million campaign. That's for sure.
But
Well,
does
I-
that give somebody a budget?
Well, for instance, everybody said that to run in local public office for like city council is probably no more than $2,500. Was like the rate. A couple people exceeded it a couple years ago. But historically, John ran, so, it all depends on how many signs you're putting out there and what social media, but what I heard was $2,500 is a good figure to not go after, stop. But if you're defending yourself and you have to defend yourself,
That's the piece that,
yeah,
but at the same time,
because it's not a normal campaign.
Right, because you just got elected and
Right.
spent the money.
Correct.
Now
That's,
you're going back and you have to spend money to
yeah,
proceed if you want to keep it, I guess, at that point.
And if you're setting a limit for what would be reimbursable if we're following state, then do you need to set a limit for how much you can spend when you're running the first time anyway?
No, you can't put a limit on what somebody can expend. I think they held that to be unconstitutional, so.
Okay.
that was the Supreme Court ruling, was it not?
So I think reimbursement, you would just pick a number and just with the understanding, if 3 people are up for a recall, multiply that by 3 is what the city's cost would be.
So,
Potential.
So, right,
Potential
the
cost,
potential
yeah.
cost, right.
so we just have to think about what that number, and maybe one of us,
Yeah.
I'll do it if you want. I'll look and see what other local communities have done, or if we just want to put a stake in the sand and say $2,500.
that feels like a good number to me. Would that include the 50% not to exceed 2,500, or would we
No,
just
it'll
say up
just
to
say-
2,500?
The candidate, and do you want to say candidate subject to recall is going to get reimbursed either way, or only if the recall is unsuccessful?
Oh, well, the Ohio says if it's unsuccessful.
Yeah,
Right.
I would stick with that.
yeah. I can agree with that. Okay. So we are up to term limits. We have 23 minutes.
I have a comment.
Uh-huh.
I think we can discuss term limits. I really feel like without even talking about term limits, that we've got probably too much for the voters to look at anyway. I think we throw term limits in there. There are going to be people that are going to go, I'm out, I don't get it. It feels like too much change.
I will agree with that. We always talk about will of the people, and the vote is the will of the people, whether they want somebody in office or not in office. And if we want to keep doing this making things simple for the voters, we'll have another opportunity to put term limits in there, but this whole recall is really technical, with what people have to consider. And I say this first time around in November, I guess I'll second the motion. Did you first the motion?
I don't know if I made a motion. It's
Oh,
more of a
okay, my bad.
discussion. But
No,
yeah.
I agree in the discussion that maybe we should table that
If
For
we
a
can,
further year or something.
for a further
Yeah.
year, yeah.
And the other thing is, the recall removal provisions are in effect like a term limit provision that,
Right. Yep.
and in there, somebody
Yeah.
thinks long enough, they can file a petition that
Correct.
go that route too.
Exactly. I just think the will of the people is first and foremost most important. The people want you in there, then you're going to stay.
So I think, didn't Waterville have a problem even getting enough candidates?
They did. They were down 3 candidates. They just finally placed them.
Don't they have like a massive council, though?
No, they have like 5
They have
people.
5?
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I-
they just fulfilled the 3.
I think that there might be a happy medium. I do hear you on like this could wait potentially, but 12 or 16 consecutive years is still a long time. And we did have some entrenched, name power folks. We don't right now. I also agree that I don't know that this, frankly, is the concern that it once was, because the politics are very volatile right now, and you frankly just don't have people that want to continue. However, a generous term limit could be a happy middle ground.
And again,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, I do have a feeling personally on
Yeah.
how I feel. Again, I believe in letting the people decide that. However, I think for what we're doing for this particular change
Yeah.
of the charter, I think if we get any more than what we've already got on, we also don't know what else will be on the ballot at that election. And the more there is, the more people are confused, and unfortunately, the less likely they are to even go vote.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So really, it would not go on in 26, it would just end up going on in 27 if
Go
you,
on in 20.
Yes.
if you kept meeting,
Yes.
after the next election, see what happens.
Exactly.
Decide if something here doesn't go forward or gets shot down, obviously,
Right.
you'd have to consider what other things, should we put it back on or not? And,
Yes.
if that primary gets shot down again, then it's like, oh,
Right.
what do we do? Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question then too. So then we present all this to city council, and then they approve each one or the whole chunk?
They
I'll look at each one.
they look at each one and they have an opportunity to change it.
Okay.
Right. So city council could say, I'm not going to put this on the ballot. even though
And then
you're
we could come
recommending."
back and say, all right, let's start talking about term limits.
They could
Because we're
even,
dropping
they
some-
could even say they want to talk, that they want to add term limits.
Correct.
We're simply advisory to them.
Right, but I'm saying there could be an opportunity that if they decide they don't like something here and say no, then we could
Yeah.
add term limits as our,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
You
Like,
could put
it's
it in
not
a
too-
report to them, you considered this, but you didn't feel it was a proper time to put
Yeah.
it on because of those reasons you set forth.
Mm-hmm,
Yep.
okay. So even if we stopped right now and said, this is what we want to present to them at this point, right? And then they kick back a couple, then we could still push some more forward.
Or they could send
Yeah.
it back to the charter commission, say, no, we do want you to look
Yeah.
at this
Okay.
further.
Got
We
it?
just want you to make a couple revisions that we see. I agree with Carla, though, and you too, Allison, you said we have to keep this simple. And, the recall is a big chunk. And then the military and primary should be fairly easy. And we don't know what state referendums are going to be out there, and county, who knows? So if we can keep it simple, at least for our residents, I think that's the good way to go for now, because we know, the former mayor said, we should have something on there for term limits. Well, we can, but does it have to be with this when we got a chunk? So I would recommend tabling it.
We'll keep advertising costs down a little bit too.
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll go through, what we talked about tonight, make some suggestions there, maybe meet one more time, and also I can work on, if I have time, try to put together the final report to council, that format that you could look at, and
Okay.
that way you can give that to council anytime, and then just when they pass the ordinance is a different timing mechanism.
I would like the opportunity to speak to council when we're ready for that final report. I don't know how this has gone in the past.
Yeah, you can make a presentation to council.
Okay. And welcome anyone else to also take part, but also you're not forced.
I vote for you.
Thanks, Carla. You're welcome. So kind.
And yes, last time it was presented to council, I think Bud presented it.
Todd presented it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alan, I really appreciate all the work that you put into
Yes.
this.
Did you
I
see?
just wanted to try to get this done for you guys. You don't have to keep coming back through June and have meeting after meeting. You know, Me too, for me too. But
When is our date to present this?
I think I put in here,
April?
I think the way I put would just need to be passed sometime in July, I think.
Okay.
So there's only one meeting in July, one in June. So I think last time we did the first reading in May, like last
I would prefer.
meeting in May.
I mean, if we're talking about the potential for council to be sending things back to us for further review, I would rather do this as soon as possible.
Right, we can do the report anytime, but just the ordinance part of it would just go on, in a different timeline. So it's not passed too early by council.
Right. So if today is the 22nd, our next meeting is the 5th, is that correct?
Council meeting is the
Council is the second.
February 2nd,
But-
but
Charter
but-
review.
But to review the
Oh,
changes we
great.
went over today, so the 5th, so it would be lovely if we could plan for the council meeting on the 16th or later, so that there's some time to
okay,
prepare.
yeah, I'll try to get a report.
Assuming that we get everything done at the next meeting.
Well, what I can do is put the general report together and then,
Yeah.
be ready for the committee to sign, at the next meeting.
Yeah.
If it needs edited, we'll have Casey run upstairs and edit it real quick. Print it off.
Okay.
I'll try to circulate the report beforehand, and that way if you do have any edits, we can look at that.
Okay. And I will look at it more than one day before the meeting. Okay. Any further comments or questions for the good of the order? Wonderful. I think we are ready to adjourn then at 6:16. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Fairweather,
Yes.
Fiskus?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Sayer?
Yes.
All right. See you in 2 weeks.
All right, thanks.
Meeting adjourned.